Okay, so you're going through your life as a duck, and it's hunting season.
So you start as an egg, you come out as a new baby duck, or you're just.
Well, no, I mean I think you want to be full grown. Otherwise, then you have this whole thing. Like, I mean, I guess you can how do you get raised, and maybe your parents are teaching you how to stay away from the people with rifles.
Or you can have a way of getting hatched out of the egg, and you see your mom
Just nose diving. That's the opening credits. Yeah, but I mean, so you're playing as maybe you can choose what kind of animal you want to be, but you're in an open world hunting season.
I don't think there has been a reversed.
I mean, that actually sounds like it'd be kind of interesting, right? Where you have to play the role of the animal, trying not to get killed.
I think instinctively most people would then just want to kill the hunters. You know what I mean?
Well, but maybe that's not I mean, since that doesn't match up to, I guess, real life. I mean, the goal should be to make it through a hunting season. And that's how you level up. So,
the whole game is pretty much just hiding them.
But you still have to survive.
Oh, so
you have to eat.
So there will be places where food is, and then.
Yeah. So I mean, and then sometimes it'll be the type thing where you're so starving that you have to eat, so you got to take unnecessary risks.
There's something called shelter where you're not being hunted by people, but there's other predators out there. That's pretty similar to that.
It's called Shelter.
Yeah.
And what are you when you play? What are you playing as?
Fox.
Okay.
First one's a badger.
Oh, badger. Okay. Yeah. Second one's a fox.
So you upgrade animals as you go through the game, or is this a sequel?
There's a sequel.
Oh, so the first one was a badger, then the sequel was a fox. Yeah. Okay, and the third one's what, a 747?
Sure.
That would be a really boring game if you played as an airplane. It was Airport Tycoon, but you were the airplane. People constantly taking wrenches to you and stuff. I'm flying later on this afternoon. I remember the last time I flew, our flight got delayed 6 hours because they couldn't get the door on. It's one thing to not get the door shut. When you can't get the door on,
So,
you don't tell people. Yeah. Well, first of all, why'd you take the door off?
Yeah.
That's the first concerning thing, right? And then, hey, what's wrong with this plane that you can't get the door back on? Or even worse, what's wrong with mechanics that they can't put a door on? What about the other really important stuff? I did watch this really awesome show about the Atlanta airport last night. I've seen it before, but they have a whole bunch of different birds of prey to scare the birds away from the airplanes and stuff like that. So depending on what kind of bird activity they have around the airport, the guy brings out a different bird of prey each day. Sometimes it's falcons, sometimes it's eagles, and each one's a tool that knows how to do different things. It's kind of awesome.
I almost became a falconer.
Did you?
Yep.
Okay, well, how does this backstory work?
I mean, that's what you have to be a falconer.
Yeah, I get it.
Birds of prey for
It's
it's a pretty intensive process. You have to have a master falconer guide you through it. It's a daily thing. It has to be your best friend, pretty much. You gotta clean up its crap all the time, and
so good.
You gotta make sure that the bird's healthy. And, yeah.
Okay, so you say you almost how deep down the rabbit hole did you go in falconry?
I contacted the master falconer, but then I was in Wisconsin and I needed to do it in Michigan, so until I get back home.
Oh, so this is something you might still pursue.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, have you ever done this, or you just saw it once and thought it was cool?
Well, we used to have shows at our local metro park all the time, and I would go to all of them and learn more about it.
So I mean, have you ever actually?
You can't do it unless you have a license.
So you've never held a falcon. You just imagine what it would be like to hold a falcon of one of those.
I guess right next to
the leather gloves where they say don't rip your arm off.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you know people actually hunt deer with golden eagles?
What?
Yeah, there's videos on YouTube of golden eagles picking up deer by the hind legs and dropping them off cliffs.
I've seen that before, but I've never seen someone actually hunt with it.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, that is awesome. I want to do that now.
There's also
This
also
year's
one that-
fishing, next year's.
Falconry and.
that's pretty cool.
Come to class.
Well, actually, this winter I'm going to do. I'm taking up. Going to become a barbecue pitmaster with a smoker and everything like that. I'm going to go do barbecue competitions next year.
Do that at your house.
So
Food free.
I'll taste it.
Yeah,
tasting.
exactly.
Make sure it's legit before you go off on this competition.
Make sure it's legit. Pretty sure a fat guy's pretty good at knowing whether food is legit. Plus, after I speak to his buddy Marley. All right. So let's talk about the midterm. Huh? Not gonna be here Monday. So we're talking about the midterm now.
This midterm was.
No, you have class Monday. I just won't be here. All right. So midterm will be a week from today. So next Wednesday.
We're not having class.
All right. So the exam. No, actually, let me ask you this real quick. How many of you have worked on your homework assignments down in the lab? And the installation works okay? Everything seems to be fine? All right. So I'm going to take a little weird twist on this exam.
Is this gonna be like recreate the dice roller app or something?
No, it would be something smaller. But the exam is going to be write an app during class. So it's going to be a small app, some subset of what we've done up to this point. You can use your code. So any resources that you have, you can go and look at for examples and stuff like that. But we'll have it down in the computer lab. I need to make sure I can get the lab. I don't think that should be a issue. So it'll be a project that I'll give you. Everybody will have the same project, but you won't be able to work with other people. So I want to see that you're learning the stuff on your own and can write a project. So think of something along the lines of the dice roller, but something is probably going to be like 2 screens, not 4 screens with all this stuff. So you'll have to probably show navigation, be able to get input into the application somehow, whether that's through buttons or whether that's through a picker or whether that's through a table view. All these things are fair game. What were you going to ask?
So is this like we're done at the end of the 15 minutes? Like that's 15 minutes? Okay.
Yep. So something that should take you, that if you're where you need to be in this class, you should be able to do in 50 minutes. Okay. And in the end, you'll submit the code to GitHub and turn in a link to it for me to look at it. All right. Kind of sound like a reasonable plan. Could be kind of an interesting.
Fun.
Huh?
You sure you want to do this? It sounds fun.
Well, it's supposed to be fun, but I'll get an idea on what you guys have learned doing this homework, because obviously there's some crossover, right? So sometimes you guys do homework on your own and you learn something from it. Sometimes you do homework in groups where you rely on somebody else to do it and you just copy it. Well, that's not so great. So when you do that, I don't care if you work with somebody else, but I want you to learn from it. So you should be able to come in and write your own simple app to do something. This is on Wednesday, a week from today. Okay, so Monday I will not be here, but what I would encourage you to do between now and Wednesday is sit down and write some simple apps. So, as an example, you might write an app. So let me just kind of give you an example application that isn't what I will ask you, but might be similar-ish to what I ask you. Sound good? Okay. So let's say this is a practice midterm.
Projector isn't turned on.
Why weren't you telling me that like a long time ago?
Trying to, but you kept talking.
Really? Well, at least I haven't really written much down here yet.
I pointed at it, you just looked at me and laughed.
Really? I thought you were just pointing at me.
No.
Hopefully I don't have to start the recording again because we have some gold on there right now. Looks like we're good. All right, so practice midterm. So this might be something you go and do in preparation for our exam on Wednesday. And keep in mind, I want you all to do well in this exam. I always want you guys to do well in my exams. That doesn't always happen. No, I get enjoyment out of you guys learning, but I find it just hilarious, some of the idiocy that I get. I had a 250 student. I was just grading 250 before this, so I came in on the warpath. There is no possible way this person or anybody in class wrote this code. You know, I'm not going to sit there and go and try to look it up and all this stuff, but I mean, it's the curly braces weren't like the curly braces I teach. They were using some syntax nuances that are way out there, like legal, but not something that I teach, not something that this particular person is likely to know, since they probably would struggle with Hello World.
So like Hax.
Huh? It was Hax. Yeah, it's very interesting. So, all right, so practice midterm. You might have an app. So maybe an app that calculates the monthly car payment for a car given a starting price that you can hard code, seeing as though when you test your app, you're not going to be able to input stuff because we don't have that running on a real device yet. So you can just say the car is $42,000 or something like that. So given a starting price and selecting the number of months that the number of months over which you are making payments. Something like that. So that would be maybe on one screen. Okay? Then maybe you take it from there, and that gives you your monthly payment. And now maybe it takes you to a second screen. So we might call this screen 1. A screen 2 would be maybe a secondary widget type thing. Okay, so maybe you're going to take that monthly payment that you figured out from the first screen, so pass information to the next screen. All right, so prove that you can do something on screen 1, get a value. Now we need to get that value to the second screen somehow. And now we're going to do something with that value. Go ahead.
That somehow, do you prefer a way that we do that? Like, would you prefer a singleton over passing it through a...
Well, I prefer that you do it in a way that's reasonable for the solution, but not, I mean, either one works in general. I mean, so if you want to pass it through the context and that's appropriate for that solution, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, singletons aren't the godsend of sending stuff between multiple screens. It's great when you have 3 or 4 screens that you're sharing stuff across. If you're just sending one piece of information from one screen to another, you don't really need a singleton to do that, right? You just send it through the context and you're done. So I don't care. If it works, I'm not going to dock points. If you, I am going to be looking at so assuming your project doesn't quite work, I'm going to be looking at how you were going about it and what decisions you made and why. That type of stuff. So I guess I don't care if you're stupid if it works. But if it doesn't work, try to look intelligent. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. All right, so screen 2, we now have a value. So we're going to say receives the value from screen 1. So maybe that monthly payment. That is the monthly payment. Okay, and maybe what we do on screen 2 is we're going to do some sort of math on that monthly payment. So let's kind of take that number. Let's say the number is like, $1,200 or something like that. Maybe you calculate, we'll do it here. The price per day, hour, minute, and second, and display in the table view. Something like that. And maybe in this you can assume months have 30 days. Just keep the math simple. All right, so if you were designing this, let's just look at this at a high level. Your main screen is going to look like this. And you're going to have a text box, so maybe you're going to have it hard-coded, so let's just say it's $42,000 up top. So that's your car price. All right, and then maybe you're going to have a picker for the number of months. So maybe you'll have a picker that is 1 to 60 months, something like that. And so inside here, we'll go ahead and throw a picker. So something like that. It'll slide all the way from 1 all the way to 60. All right, and then maybe on the bottom here, or maybe it's above, wherever it is, it's showing you the current price per month. So in this case, if 2 is the current selected value, that's the number of months that we're paying over. That means that the monthly payment is $21,000. Steep. It's a steep payment. Okay. So $21,000 per month. All right, now we're going to have a second screen. So this will involve you having to create the picker, fill the picker as you're moving through this, reading in the number of months, taking this value, dividing it by the number of months, showing it on this label, right? And then ultimately having some way to get to the next screen. Maybe you have a button that says go or something like that, or if you want to do the swipe thing, you can. So however you want to get to that second screen is fine. So now you're on the second screen. And the second screen should be a table view. So maybe at the top, you'll still have your cost of the car. And then maybe you have actually maybe you wouldn't have a cost of the car. Maybe I'll just do the table view here. So I'll steal this guy. So we're going to have, what did I say? So month was 21,000. Day is 700. Hour is 2917. Minute is 49 cents. And then second,
Want us to go less than a penny?
what's up?
Want us to go less than a penny?
Oh, I mean, sure. Or you can say, you know, you can just do less than or something. You know, I don't really care how you represent it as long as you're showing me your kind of your skill for doing this. So second is going to be that divided by 60. So that's 0.008 dollars. So good enough, something like that. So this screen would have a table view showing the breakdown of what that translates into. Actually, a somewhat useful application, I guess, in when you're trying to budget stuff. I mean, we're doing it related to a car, but if we do turn this guy into a number, so let's say you're going on a vacation, and the vacation is going to take you, you know, it's going to be $2,000 for the trip, and you have 6 months to save up for the trip. You can figure out how much do I need to save up per month, per day, per hour, per minute, per second. Just kind of put that all into perspective. You know, like how much do I set aside per day? Maybe it comes out to it's, you know, 73 cents a day. I'm like, oh, I could do that. That seems like a whole lot better than $2,000 or something like that. I don't know, that could be kind of handy, right?
Well, you have to think about it being on your watch, though. How are you going to put that $42,000 in your
Speaking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually kind of an interesting, man, we're not talking Angry Birds level, but in terms of something you might use the watch for. I mean, that could be I should have used this for the test question. That's not going to be a test question. Test question would be 10 times harder than this.
I actually wouldn't do that at all. Then you could be shopping and just be like, oh, $35,000, and then you'd see, oh.
Yeah, shopping for a car, and like, let's say, they're going to give me 60 months to pay for this. How much do I need to save per day in order to afford this car payment for this Ferrari that I should not be buying? Yeah, or even a house. That would actually be kind of interesting. $350,000 house over 30 years. You know, this doesn't take interest into consideration or anything like that, but roughly speaking, how much money do I need to save per day to pay for this house? Kind of interesting, I guess. All right, so I could see the app being something along these lines. So a couple of screens, you're going to have to prove that you can pass information from screen 1 to screen 2. You'll probably have to work with a picker view and a table view, since we've kind of worked a lot with those guys. Certainly passing information, doing some math, having it show up on the screen, that kind of stuff. All right, so this would be something that we all should be able to do, you know, relatively quickly, right? And especially since you have access to your current code. So I'm telling you that you can bring with you your current project, so you can go and look at your WK picker items and kind of grab that code and repurpose it for filling this, so you don't have to write a whole lot of that code from scratch. Make sense? Okay, so you'll have the whole time, so 50 minutes to take the exam. At the end of the exam, there'll be a Dropbox on Blackboard that I'll put up right at the beginning of class. And what you'll do is in that Dropbox, you will upload a screenshot of your running application, both screens, or however many screens there are. I anticipate there being 2. And then also a GitHub link to your code. So I want you to upload your code someplace. Sound good? All right, so questions about that project? Comments, concerns, bribes? All right, so I would practice this before your exam on Wednesday, and then come in on Wednesday prepared to do something along these lines live in the lab down the street. All right, so we'll meet down there on Wednesday. Again, I won't be here on Monday, but I will have access to emails. So if you have questions or need me to look at your code, you don't know why something's not working, send me the GitHub link with a question, and I'll look at it. Sound good? All right, I will see everybody on Wednesday.